Today's video is going to be on putting a set of 16-inch ape hangers on this 1994 Softail, Heritage Softail Classic. It's got like the FLH front end, and 94 they don't have a kit for it. I've called Burley, JP Cycle, California, what are they called, California Parts or something like that. So I've got to measure the cables, take them all apart, measure them individually, put the other bars on, see how much more of a length I need, and then specially order them. I ordered the wiring kit to extend the wires. That's not too much, it's about 23 bucks US, and those are actually in. I already got them, but I haven't got the cables yet. So today I'm going to dismantle all this, measure the cables, get the ape hangers on, and see what I need. First thing I'm going to do is take off the clutch cable here, disconnect it. And how I do that is how you pull the lever in, pull pressure out on this, and try to pull it past the slot, like that. And then that takes the tension off the cable. Then I'll undo the pin here and pull the cable out. You gotta have a pair of circle clip pliers to get out the little clip for the clutch pin, pivot pin. And there's mirrors in the way, turn that out of the way. Little circlip pin. Put that over there with all my parts. This isn't going to be a simple job, changing these cables and everything over. It's going to be a few hours because there's lots you got to take apart here. I'm going to take the tanks off too, so you can I can get at the carb cables a lot better, make it a lot easier. So these tanks have a balancer pipe. Let's go right here, turn this down, right there. Trying to find this. Yeah, at the front of the two tanks, these are 3.5 gallons. It's got a balancer pipe, so when I undo this, the gas is going to piss out. So I got to shove a hose on here and plug it, and plug that one right away pretty quickly. As I'm doing, I'm going to get prepared for that and ready. And to get the tanks off, got to take the seat off. I'll take the seat off first. Should be 2 bolts at the back, and I think there's one under here to get the leather strip off. You can see right down there, there's a clutch cable clamp, 7/16 bolt. It's also holding the front brake master cylinder line on it as well too. We've got to take that out to get the cable loosened right off. I got a 1/4-inch drive 7/16 socket on there. And to get a better swing on the ratchet back and forth, it's best to take the clutch cable right out, lay it right out straight this way, and then you get a nice good full swing on it. And the bolt for the clutch cable clamp, it doesn't have a nut on it. It has like a body clip. And where is it there? I think it just slid off, but it's more like a body clip on the other side of this that's threaded. There's no nut on there. Okay, next is pull it out of the transmission. To get the clutch cable out, got to undo all these screws on the transmission cover. It's a 3/16 Allen head, and I don't have clearance to get the bottom two. This is an aftermarket exhaust system on this Softail. And there's 2 bolts down here on the exhaust. They're 9/16. I'm going to loosen them off, See if I get enough free play just to drop this down a little bit. Otherwise, I gotta loosen the right at the exhaust manifold there. I'll give that a try first. Get back to you. I'm gonna take this out and measure it, put the bars on, and see how much more I'm gonna need. I think I'm gonna need like about 9 or 10 inches more cable to fit those 16-inch ape hangers, but we're gonna find out. But I can't really measure it until I get all the other cables off. But at least I got this one off here, and I gotta unthread this. I'll show you. I gotta get my wrench and I'll show you that one. It's 9/16 here to loosen the cable. You need a pair of snap ring pliers to undo this big circlip in here for the clutch throw out. And like, I haven't done one of these, and I haven't worked on one of these, and well, this is the 94, so over 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. So I wasn't sure how this one came out. Sometimes you can just slide them out, but you gotta undo that circlip, and then you turn this. The end of the cable has a square slot in it, so it can only come out one way, so that's why you gotta undo that. Turn it this way, pop it out. There's the 3 ball bearings for the throw out, which raises it up to release the clutch. So then I'll just undo this cable. Yeah, let me take those ball bearings out of there. Just to put some 16-inch ape hangers on, which to me isn't safe, but people want them. And the rule of thumb back in the 80s was anything 14 inches over the handlebar triple tree was illegal, but maybe that's changed. So there, I just threaded the cable out. Yeah, and you can see in the 94 they're threaded, and the newer ones aren't, so that's the difference. Whoop. Oh, that was good. Screw those down. Okay. Just remove the seat, 2 bolts on either side. Disconnect the negative side of the battery. I always shove a rag in there, so there's no way that I could touch this, because we're going to be disconnecting all the wiring harness. We don't want to short anything out. Taking out the center leather panel here and the dash so we can get the 2 tanks off. That's the next step. Yep, go this way. Half inch nut on there. Gotta undo the speedo screw. I'll get a screwdriver for that. There's a screw inside here, so I can take this off. Just so you can see how small that screw is in the trip meter dial here. It's a little tiny wee Phillips screw, and it was Loctited in there. It was difficult to get out. I had to use a little real fine screwdriver to get that out. I tried looking into the end to see if it was an Allen head or Phillips. I couldn't tell, and scraped it, blew it out, cleaned it out, and then finally I could see it was a little Phillips. That's what I thought it was from my memory, but you never know. Maybe they changed it to Allen head over the years. So now we should be able to get the cover off here. Yeah, just like that. Putting all my parts down here. Like that. So here's the 2 bolts. This goes on the protective side pieces for that gauge panel. There's the 2 bolts there for the 2 halves, and then there's 2 more at the front. I gotta get off. Okay, so let me get that ready. Okay, I gotta pull this hose off, and gas is gonna piss out. An old pair of jeans. I'm just gonna shove it right in here for now, and hopefully I catch a lot of it. I'm gonna do this quick, and then what I took was I got an old piece of fuel line, and I shove a punch in it. Punches work really good because they got a long taper. Put a clamp on it, so I'm gonna shove this onto there as soon as I yank it off, and then I could put a pair of vice grips on here to pinch that for now, but what I've got for that side is another punch to go in here. But yeah, I think I'll pinch this off with some vice grips for now. Okay, let's see how this works. Get this ready. Got that pinched off with some vice grips. Doesn't help with those lights in the background up here, eh? They cause a lot of glare. All right, let's try it. Yeah, she's already leaking out on me. A little bit of gas. Not much you can do about that. And I'll shove this punch in the other hose. Clamp that up. There. Undo this. Now I can pull the left tank off. I'm going to look for another clamp for this one. I'm pretty sure I got one more. Then I can pull the tanks off. Have access to everything. Okay, taking the tanks off. There's 1 bolt on the left side and the right side. They're 1/2 inch bolts. They're kind of Loctited in there. I got those 2 out. I'll take off the right one first. They're all rubber mounted, so you want to make sure you get the rubbers and washers in when you put it back together. Now these tanks are vented from the top here, so when I get it out I'm going to pull the vent line off too. Two more bolts right at the top. The old Harleys had 1 bolt that went right straight through with a spacer and clamped them both together. Makes sense to have 3 bolts. Don't forget the top one. This is a shitty ratchet I got here. My snapping one was stolen. Okay. See, that's gonna come off. And we got another cross vent pipe at the top here too. Wow, there's 2. One at the top too. They've got a cross vent pipe at the top as well on this one. cross pipe off here. Pull the vent line off. She's right full too. Stand in front just in case this one wants to fly on. Everything's Loctited in really heavy. Maybe they've all been apart before, I don't know. Heavily Loctited in. There's red Loctite on every bolt. I'll show you the exhaust bolt. It's complete. It's so caked with it, it won't even come out of the bracket. There's the exhaust hanger bolt. Look at the Loctite on that. I mean, that's how every bolt is on this. Don't forget to disconnect the fuel line. Like me, I'm a big old dummy. Shut the fuel off, do the clamp. No, I'm going back under too tight. You can see on these tanks, they have a balancer pipe at the top and one at the bottom. I haven't worked on these in a while, but I haven't seen that. Together. Yeah, I'm gonna clamp those back together. I'm gonna drain the brake fluid out of here or suck it out. I use an old syringe. I got a couple different sizes that I use. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this brake cable. All the aftermarket ones are just a solid rubber hose or neoprene hose all the way down to the slave cylinder from the master cylinder. And I kind of like these FLH ones where they're steel, then they have a rubber hose, then they're steel, bent steel down to the brake caliper. And what I might do is splice it right in here and put in another piece of a brake line and paint it black so it'll match right in. Be all the same fittings, everything. So I'm going to debate about that later. But meantime, let's pump this out. Cheaper, it's a cheaper fix for sure. I could even braze it in, you know, like get a little sleeve and braze it in there. And you would never know. I'm just going to use the same tray I used for the tranny oil. gear oil. Put this somewhere where it'll balance like that. Throw a rag in there. These brake lines have a torque fitting on them. Okay, that's good enough. I'm just going to shove a clean rag in there. That'll suck that up and I'll get a torque socket for that. I have much better access now to these cables. Releasing them. Pull them up through that slot. And this one too. This one wasn't even connected. Huh. That was the return line one, wasn't even in the slot. Huh. Also, I noticed with these cables that well, I got it straightened out now, but they had these two throttle cables between the brake lines, so one was over the other, and that wasn't correct. I can't do this with one hand, but I'm just going to put some slack down in here and pull that cable out of the throttle mechanism. I'm just going to go along and snip all the wire ties. Kind of good to video this. I'll see where they all go back on when I'm done. Same with this wiring harness here. All the ones to the handlebars go into here. So we'll cut these off. Somebody's made this one here. It's an auxiliary one. Fuses in there. Whoever put that in there. Okay, just about ready to take the grips off and take the bars off. That's next. Just so you can see how you undo these pin connectors. There's a little tab on the top and bottom. Right here, top and bottom. Just squeeze them. Yeah, just squeeze them and they pull right out just like that. There we go. One's for the left bar, one's for the right bar. Okay, and I gotta feed them through there now. I'm having a hell of a time getting these off. The screws are all Loctited in. I usually can get a chisel or punch on it and turn it to get it out. I couldn't even budge it with a chisel. I ended up drilling the end of the head off, and the studs in here, I'll heat that up and get that up. But you can just see the Loctite on there. Like every single one, they're stripped. All these ones too, can't get them off. I gotta drill them out and turn them off. There's just so much Loctite on everything that I can't budge them. And then the little screws, like for these ones here, like you put the little little Allen wrench in, and it just spins right off. Like there's no chance of these working. I'm going to upgrade and put a better quality screws in all of these, and something better than an Allen head. I don't know, something better than that anyways, because that's terrible. So that's where I'm at. I'm just ready to pull this one off. That's all I can do there. Should upgrade the grips too on this one. These grips are worn right out. Okay, go to the other side. First I'll get the grip off. There's a trick to that, I'll show you that. Get the left hand grip off. I stick a screw, pop the cap off the end, stick a screwdriver between the bar and the rubber grip to make an air pocket. And take some WD-40 or any kind of lubricant with a straw, stick it in beside the screwdriver, give it a squirt, and then work the screwdriver around the handlebar with that lubricant. And normally you can just give it a quick twist and it'll break free. This thing's been all glued on there, everything on this bike. I think this fella bought it this way. Look at that. This is even, I don't know what that is on there, but that's hard glue. You know, it's just full of it. Okay, so didn't get these screws out, like they're seized in there. So I'll try one more time. This lower one, if I can get one of them off. You try, oh, this one's loose here. There we go. I got to cut all this rubber off to get it off. 1/4 inch Allen head for the handlebar clamps. Speed this up. These bars are so heavy, it's unbelievable. Jeez, almost like a little bit. Set those up. Put the seat on, roughly. It's too far forward. That's too far down. I think right about there. It's probably about right for now, until it gets here and I can adjust it. That seems pretty comfortable right about there. Now I gotta figure out which throttle cables I need and which clutch cable. I gotta measure them up. I had to drill out both of these screws, and even putting vice grips on here, I can't get this sucker out yet. I don't want to break anything, so that's what I'm working on right now. The reason why the return cable wasn't connected at the bottom, now that I got this open, You see the other end's broken right off. So the pull cable worked. That's all my Norton's going to have, just a pull cable. But I'll order 2 new cables. And there's 2 ways of ordering these things online. You can order them to a specific length, 53, 54, 50 inch, 52.5 inch. Or you can order them oversized. Like, I'm not sure if these are, well, I think they're about 32, 30, 34 inches, these things. So you can order them like 10 over, 6 over, 8 inches over. So there's 2 ways of doing it, but what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to measure these cables. I think they're around 33, 34 inches. And for this year bike, 94, here's a Softail. And see if they have it that way, stock plus 8 or stock plus 10. If not, then if these are 34, then I think I'm going to need like a 44. I'm going to put them on right now and make sure that it's about 10 inches, 9 or 10 inches that I need. I'll figure that out first. I'm just kind of mocking this up here. Oh, this is going to go. It's got the little cutout in here for the cable. You can run the cable inside the these bars, but Corey, the guy that owns a bike here, he wants them on the outside with a little bit of a black contrast with all the chrome on this bike, and that makes sense. So I've got the cable kind of taped in approximately where I'm going to have it. Probably going to have one cable clamped right here. Have a little bend to it there. And I've cut 2 sections of hoses here, a 10 inch and 12 inch. And just to see how, am I doing this the right way? Nope. I think I can do it with a 10 inch one, but maybe it's better to have 12 inch with a little bit more free play. You want to set it so the handlebars are turned this way, and you want lots of free play when your bars are turning back and forth. So it's a loop here I'm looking at. I'm not sure if you can see that in the camera there. Where am I here? Yeah, maybe you can't see it too well, but you want this, you want a little bit of play out here. So here's the 10 inch piece. If I put it in like that, there's a little bit of play there, and that'll probably work. Or I can go 12 inch, and that would be about like that. And yeah, it might stick out a little bit too much, eh? I don't know. Yeah, you don't want too much cable sticking out. Let's see the 10 inch again. 10 inches longer is a nicer, tighter fit right there. Yeah. I could go up like that a little bit, I guess. I think 10 inches. Sits about like that. 12 inches is out like that. It's just, it looks a little bit too excessive. About a 4 inches in here. I think that'll look too much. I think right about there is about right. So throttle cables need to be 10 inches longer, and they're measuring about 35 now. So either 45 inch cables or plus 10 from stock. I'm going to check out the clutch cable now. So I put the old clutch cable back in, kind of roughly pushed it through where it's going to go, and it's going to be about 10 inches onto there as well too. I kind of wondered that if the throttle cables are 10 over, then the clutch cable is probably going to be 10 over, and sure enough it is. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go order those parts. This is part 1 of the video. Part 2 will be putting her back together. Cheers.